Anatsui is an artist who has just recently turned 70, has an international reputation for making complex works of art out of seemingly simple objects. Elle was born in Ghana and went to school in Ghana, but came to prominence at Nsukka in Nigeria, where he was an art instructor. And his climb to prominence was slow and steady, but he really gathered steam in 2002 with the Venice Biennale. That was the year he introduced his new works with the recycled metal bits from bottles and the caps and the retaining rings from liquor bottles. Some distinctive features of Elle's work are the bright colors and the abstract design. He was early drawn to the possibilities of abstraction because it freed him from telling a story that existed before the work of art. Elle hopes that all of his works of art are open to multiple interpretations. So he has a funny relationship with titles, but he does like to give people clues about one possible interpretation. Elle's work is very important because he has added an entirely new approach to making art from found objects. We don't really know what they are. They don't neatly fit into any category that we have available to us. They are certainly not collage, not necessarily sculpture, not necessarily painting, but they are all of these things wrapped up into one. His use of material is very important. Every piece that he uses has a resonance and has a life of its own. The caps are so colorful that they're attractive and we're drawn to them. And only secondarily do we realize what they are, where this bright color is coming from. Once we start contemplating what they are, we come up with multiple reasons for their global significance. When did alcohol come to African countries? What is the nature of all of this residue? What happens to all of the bottle caps that aren't part of Elle's work that are recycled? What does liquor mean in a larger context? And where did the liquor come from? And what does it have to do with global trade? All of these ideas begin to come out. They come cascading out from the work of art as we contemplate it longer. He addresses themes of globalization and the negative aspects of globalization, the inequity in wealth and the inequity in who gets to use natural resources and who has natural resources. Africa becomes a topic for a lot of his work because of the inequity in the spoils that it gets to enjoy from its own continent. One of the things that's hard to know about Elle Anatsui until you get to know him personally is the profound generosity that is embodied in this work. After studying studio art, he studied to become an art educator. And to educate is to give. And that's really the way he approaches his art. He gives us this art. He allows us to interact with it. He thinks of his art as data, and therefore data is dead until it's interacted with. And that's what the viewer does. The viewer interacts with what he has given us. He has a true generosity of spirit in that he allows people to actually move his works of art, and he doesn't have this authoritarian sense that the way he has it set is the only way. Each piece in his work reflects a human life for him. Each bottle cap can reflect an individual story and therefore an individual life. And so when he's putting these together, he often feels that he's bringing together multiple stories simultaneously. He acknowledges that everybody brings their own stories to his work, and he sees his work as a place where individual stories of the viewer merge with all of the stories he's brought to bear in the works of art. You can imagine conceptually that every piece of detritus that ends up in his work has its own story. We might not know the story, but it has a story. We have a story. They might not know our story. Elle might not know our story, but he knows we bring a story. So we bring our story to all of those that he's brought to us. And that is the moment when his work really comes to life.